now start the second presentation of the workshop. We will invite Professor Marli Monteiro de Carvalho to take her place at the table.
Thank you, Alva. Welcome, you all. I'm so glad to have you all here. I hope we succeed in collaborating in the future. We will work a lot during these 4 days. And I will try to show you an overview of our research group. In this short presentation, we split the presentation of our group and Henrique groups in São Carlos, University of São Paulo, São Carlos campus. So I will show you an overview of our research group. You know already our interests. So a little bit about the group, people, and research areas, research agenda, and what we are planning for the future. Well, our group, LGP, Project Management Lab, we have 23 researchers, including professors, including PhD, master, undergraduate students, and also postdoc researchers. And we also have a strong collaboration with industry and a lot of students in PM courses, practitioners mainly in master courses on project management, around more than 100 students. Practitioners mainly well linked to the industry. So we have also to acknowledge the sponsor of CNPq, FAPESP, and CAPS to our research projects and some of our research students. So that's a little bit our group. I would like to invite you to see our website. There have a lot of information. Most of our publications are available in this website. Our group, our team, you can identify people for collaborating. You can assess some of our research projects and so on. It's terrible. Okay. Our research agenda on sustainability and on product service system. We started to study sustainability around 6 years ago as a cross research themes in our core research areas. So we are not a lab that studies sustainability as a whole, but we study sustainability linked with our research core themes. So I put in this figure some of our projects. Actually, we start 6 years ago in the bottom of this pyramid. We start trying to integrate 3 bodies of knowledge that we are in the core of our research group, that are project management, innovation management, and the sustainability, mainly in the environment, sustainability in the beginning as the core subject, and after that, the triple bottom line perspective. And we start here, so we have more results on this subject in this integration. I will show some results in the sequence. And we also start with managerial systems such as environment management systems, health and safety management systems, and for sure quality management systems, and integrated then in order to drive companies towards sustainability. It's one of our research themes in the bottom of pyramid. So looking on the top, we start to study more recently, 3-4 years ago, innovation business model, particularly try to translate this business model in appropriate performance measure systems. And we also, in this environment, we started to research on PSS, and mainly linked with the group that studies business ecosystems. We have strong research on business ecosystems in innovation area, such as in Internet of Things, how to design this business ecosystem in innovation area. And we linked these two groups, trying to understand how design PSS, understanding the business ecosystems, and understand the different types of business model to translate how the companies are looking for being more sustainable. So we are trying to understand this in a more strategic perspective. And here, link all this subject, there is the people perspective, what we call the soft side. We have research on soft side, not just related to sustainability, but also innovation, project management, and so on. And we trying to design how to commit the people, how to understand the changing management process to move people toward a more sustainable perspective to help all the models we design in different levels. So let's move to some results. I will go a little bit fast in these results because most of them we will have a chance to discuss in the discussion groups. So I will show you an overview, the main publications and the main results on all of these subjects. So, as I mentioned before, we start with PM and sustainability, mainly in the environment perspective, and move on to including the social perspective in the triple bottom line perspective. And we start, the first result was a chapter in our third edition of our teaching book on PM, published in 2011. We take out the 1 year research we have at this time and put on a chapter what we understand it should be a project sustainability management and how to promote sustainability in project environment. We understand this model as first, as a normative perspective, how to move towards sustainability, which are the main areas we need to include in project management body of knowledge to move it more on more sustainable perspective, towards a more sustainable perspective, and also as a lagging indicator, as a project management success dimension. The first publication we proposed sustainability as a success dimension was this paper published last year in International Journal of Production Research, but it has already been presented in the chapter in 2011. And we spent almost 3 years looking for projects in depth. We have studied 222 projects in order to try to validate the proposed model. So we finished this research last year, and we submit the paper for the special issue on sustainability in PM. And we could validate the model. It was very, very good for us because it was first a proposition, mainly designed in a theoretical perspective. Then, for sure, our practice with companies collaborate so much during our research project with companies, but when we could validate in a more confirmatory research, it was very, very good for us. We get a little bit happy at this time, and we could validate through structural equation modeling not just the structural hypothesis, but also the measuring model. So this measuring model, now we can use as assessment tools for companies who are designed for to be available in our website to companies to try to make a diagnostic of how is the sustainability in my project. So it was a secondary objective, but it was validated, so we are happy now. And we are happy to understand that we have a significant and positive impact on success dimension. Not only the typical project management success dimension, the iron triangle, and the impact on business, on the impact on the future of the business, but also the impact on sustainability concerning indicators on impact, negative impact on sustainability related to environment and related to social dimension. So, and we also explored some control variables such as sector, firm size, and here we have two different countries, and also this was a control variable. Still in the project management and sustainability, I have developed a PhD project with my student, not student anymore, sorry, Mauro. He's now a professor at Unimap in the Santa Barbara campus. And we, in the Mauro PhD, we explore more the triple bottom line perspective and improve the social side, because it was not so good in our first model. And we use a multi-methods approach in Mauro PhD. And we start with exploratory case studies developed in USA and in Brazil, in public and private companies. And after that, we start to design the research model. We have some specialist panel to validate this model. After that, a survey-based confirmatory approach, also for Mauro model. So we have 3 papers submitted, and that one recently published in the Journal of Cleaner Production. I will share with you these publications. We will have a virtual environment for these workshops. So all these, our presentations and the papers we think we can share in the future will be in this private virtual area for the workshop. And still on the bottom, the other side, not project management, but innovation management. We start with Professor Fernando Henrique Cardoso, ótimo, Professor Henrique Rosenfeld, 2009? 2009, project supported by CAPS. It was 3 hubs. The leading hub is the Henrique Group. And 2 more groups, the Federal University of Santa Catarina, Professor Forcellini, and here at Polytechnic School. And we start to discuss the sustainability perspective on NPD, New Product Development. And we studied a lot. I will not explain a lot about this project because Henrique will present our model, and it's a very interesting model. And also, I had a PhD project. Fabian is with us during this workshop. So I will not detail also the PhD, the thesis of Fabian, because he will present tomorrow, but we have still some publications available in 2014 and 2015. And we have now 2 submissions in ongoing process. So I will let Fabian present tomorrow to you. So let's move towards a more strategic perspective. Most of this perspective has been developed during the master and now the PhD of Sandra Morioka. Hi, Sandra. And we start mailing, exploring how to measure sustainability and how to link it with performance measure system. We look to the sustainability reports and so on, and we have a strong in-depth research on performance measure system, and we could not see a good link between these two areas. So the main challenge for Sandra was try to understand in depth how we could link this environment sustainability reports and try to link it with the strategic maps, tries to take this perspective to the strategic measure system. So it was the first challenge for Sandra. This challenge is already approved in Journal of Cleaner Production in 2 papers. One is the first effort Sandra has developed in survey this literature and understand and link this body of knowledge. And after that, we start with a very exploratory research in case studies and trying to understand how companies are measuring sustainability in practice. So we have 4 case studies presented here and 1 pilot case studies in the bottom of this work. And mainly in the PAG, this ongoing PAG, she moves more on to understand the business model, sustainable business model, but also try to translate these business models in performance measure systems. So use the background of the master project, but now moving to more strategic perspective, still more strategic, and try to understand the sustainable business model as a core project. She spent almost a year in University of Cambridge with Steve Evans' group. Some of you are from the same group, Dai, for instance, and we have still just this paper, but we are working on several case studies here and in Europe and try to improve the business, sustainable business model frame that Sandra is developing, and she will share during the workshop with you. Last but not least, we have some research on PSS. It started 4 years ago, with the Veridiana PhD, and also with collaboration with Professor Melanie Cray. She is a lecturer at DTU in Denmark, and we found, we studied at this time, Veridiana are in the exploratory phase in the healthcare sector, some cases. And Melanie also have some cases in Denmark in the same sector. So we try to share and understand how the PSS beginning, which are the main drivers, which are the configuration of the PSS in the same sector, in the same relation, the service, the equipment service provider and the hospital. So we try to understand similar kinds of PSS, but totally different business ecosystem. So this first paper, it's still submitted in Journal of Cleaner Production. We explored this cross-case analysis in different business ecosystem, and we designed a different path in our case studies. We have in the first place a customer pool profile to achieve PSS, and also a service provider, equipment provider, push the PSS. And the structure of this PSS really are different. Where is the value? Who capture the value is different. Who have the bargain power in the ecosystem is different. So totally different, despite its similar sector, similar relation in the PSS range, they have totally different configuration. So it helps us to understand that the concept of the research on PSS is really linked with a business ecosystem, but also really linked with the business model perspective. You can achieve PSS in different ways, but you need to involve the business ecosystem in order to design win-win models, because in some of the cases, the models are not so win-win for all participants, so it may lead to not a succeeding configuration for PSS. And the final result of Veridiana PhD thesis was this research. It was a survey-based research. We start first as a research question. Which are the key factors that move organization towards a PSS model? And we studied, I think it's around 110 firms, and we could draw these 5 drivers: environment, competitive advantage, co-production, portfolio, and co-creation. We have the first phase, as I mentioned before, more exploratory through case studies, and after that, this more confirmatory, using first the exploratory factor analysis, and after that, we explore some changes in the transition logic, applying structural equation modeling. And here, at this side of the model, we explore what people are familiar with, the transition logic, more product or more service logic, and also different ways to product use, product-oriented, user-oriented, and results-oriented. For instance, the cases we explore in the healthcare, we have a very aggressive model in result-oriented, but the other one was more linked with product-oriented. And Andrews present a lot of examples in this range, move on from the one side to the other side. So we try to operationalize this transition logic into main approaches. It was the dominant logic, more strategic perspective, and how they sell the products. It's the product, is the user, the result. And what's the meaning here? We just try to understand how the drivers, the motivated, change during the evolution in this range. So, for instance, the environmental driver just appear in the end of this range, because we have here the people who design the PSS have to deal with the end of life. So they are much more concerned on the environment perspective. The others that are in the beginning of this range, mainly in product and service as a complement, they are not concerned with the environmental drivers. So we understand that, and it was significant and has a significant impact. The drivers changing when we changing this continuous. So it was the results of this PhD of our group. So let's move into the future research agenda. And Now we are exploring some. The others is still ongoing, but we are new PhD and master projects. And the first one is the Aline PhD project, and she will try to explore the PSS and the life cycle management relation, but she will focus on the middle of life. We think that we have an interesting body of research on the end of life linked with PSS, and also in the beginning of life. So we are trying to understand the role of the designing of PSS during the middle of life. And this will be really linked with the circular economy perspective with another master, Lorena is here also, we will explore. So that's the first issue. After that, we are planning to explore new research approach, more proactive approach, and help companies to design the PSS, bring the main players of the business ecosystem. It was similar to the servitization center in Aston. So we try to promote the discussion with the main players in the business ecosystem to help to design. I think it's also an approach explored by Henrique Group, and in the case he will present in the afternoon. And we will try to understand, as I mentioned, soft side and change management is a very important issue in our research group. Fabian presents an eco-design transition model that has the change management and the soft side well explored, and we want to improve it in a more triple bottom line perspective, not just focus on the environment perspective, as in the PhD of Fabian, but including also the social perspective. That is another issue we are trying to understand. We are trying to make a link with circular economy. University of São Paulo now is part of Helen Foundation, Helen MacArthur Foundation, so we are trying to explore this link with circular economy in our group and link with these research themes I mentioned before, business ecosystem, PSS, and business models for improving the circular economy, related to circular economy. And also, more managerial approach, link the certified managerial systems. And here we have the Jennifer PhD. She also has a research mix, exploratory case studies, and also a more quantitative approach to link it to organizational performance in the bottom line, triple bottom line perspective. And she's trying to finish her project. And we think it's important we share here in this more research approach workshop. We face a lot of, since the beginning of the studies, different from PM area and innovation area, we face a lot of methodological challenges to develop the research, particularly the more confirmatory research, because it's very hard to operationalize the variables. We have just a few studies that have the variables really operationalized. The nomenclature is still very confusing, several of the research on this approach, and the body of knowledge did not dialogue well, so it's very difficult to put the research on, because you have to define the variables, to personalize, to validate the instrument. We don't have a great background, so it's very, very difficult to realize confirmatory studies. So the main studies are on exploratory research approach, and also case-based or action research-based. And we are now also exploring the control variables, how to customize the models we designed, how to customize them related to sector, to firm size. There are cultural issues related to different countries. So we are trying to explore these control variables and understand the changes the model should be, the flexibility the model should have to fit different contexts relating to these control variables. So that's the overview of our group. I hope to discuss a lot of collaboration now this issue with you, and I will call Professor Henrique to present his group, and after that we will have the final of this first step of the workshop with some questions. So Andrews will turn back here and we can talk about our research.